Apparently, I don't believe it. Okay, wait, guys, let's catch up. What did we do before the end of stream yesterday? Well, before the end of Great Ace Attorney yesterday, we found out that Judge Jigoku killed Gregson, and then we accused Strongheart's ass. I'm not dropping my controller. And Sholmes pops in and was like, hey, make sure that you don't end this trial. And by the way, you still have the bunny, walkie-talkie. Which means there's gonna be another Sholmes part. And I'm pretty sure Susato's daddy is about to come in and testify. And that is where we are at. Yeah. So, we are somehow, like, in part 3 of the final chapter. Having more than 2 parts is crazy. The Ozempic rabbit walkie-talkie, yes, it is the Ozempic rabbit walkie-talkie. However, it is slightly less nightmarish than the one that Kevin drew. Thank you. There are animations that we did not know. Okay, wait, but the one where she's like vibrating like that is actually very powerful. And I feel like up and down for the laugh is also more fitting, so... Yeah, good. Wait, who's that streamer? It's Peachy, right? Alright, let's do this. Let's go. Aurora Peachy. She's... Wait. We are pulling in the iconic coroner? They didn't tell us that. Okay. Now, the Aurora Peachy, that reminds me of, there was a streamer I used to subscribe to years ago because she had funny emotes, and I never watched a single one of her streams. I think her name was not Jen. It was you with Level Up Together. Well, now they're Level Up broken up. I kid. Oh man, that's a blast from the past, actually. They used to stream a lot, and then they dropped off the face of the earth. And then literally told their community, we are hanging out with new people. You know, we all have different walks of life. So, witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. Eugene Mikotoba, lecturer in forensic medicine at the Imperial Yume University in Tokyo, Japan. I love this pitch. Look at her. And Professor Mikotoba, the young lady beside you is... Ah, this is Dr. Maria Gori. Scotland Yard's practicing coroner. The daughter of Dr. Scythe, I understand. Yes, Dr. Scythe. I'm afraid I can't tell you why she's here. She just appeared. Okay, that's... Alright. We'll just go with it. It's fine. You summoned this strange Japanese man as a witness to that autopsy, but you don't summon Mama. That makes no sense. She was there too. Mariah Carey. Mariah Gori. Yeah. It's about the same name. That's about the size of it. Also, she has knives in the courtroom. I'm feeling unsafe. I've had her eyes boring into the side of my cheek constantly, whilst I was in the antechamber too. Oh, Stephen, yes, yes. Poor man. The idea of making me shudder. The revelations about Dr. Scythe that came to light some days ago defiled the reputation of the entire judiciary. She was therefore deemed unfit to appear as a witness in today's proceedings. Corey is great. She's Brittany? Yeah, she's Brittany because she has the knives. But she's not spinning, so it's only a matter of time. She's gonna cut the meat of this investigation. I've been waiting for her to be involved because I just like her as a character, and she kind of has the tea, even though she should have been really young when the shit happened like 10 years ago. The Ministry of Justice's decision on that is final. Well, we wouldn't want any more perjury to be committed, would we? That's such a good response to anything, is just... The Ministry of Justice? Some questionable strings are being pulled, I think. I remember you, Dr. Mikotoba, but I certainly never expected to be meeting you under these circumstances. Yes, it's been a long while, Lord Strongheart. Prosecution understands that you were a visiting student of forensic science in London until 10 years ago. That's right, I studied under Dr. Wilson at St. Sinners. So you were present at the autopsy of my brother, Lord Clint Van Zeeks. I was, yes. I asserted Dr. Wilson with the entire procedure. Assisted even? Did I misread? Mama is far more skilled than any Japanese man. Well, Dr. Wilson asked me to be his primary assistant on that occasion. And this autopsy report was actually penned by you, I believe. Yes. I noted all of the doctor's findings, and when we were done, he read through the document and signed it. Poor Mama. As secondary assistant, she wouldn't have had such a good view, or she wouldn't have had such a good view of all the innards. So, Professor, do you remember Inspector Gregson? Yes, of course. If it wasn't for his insistence, Lord Van Zeeks' autopsy would never have happened. But he was absolutely convinced that it would reveal decisive evidence against Genshin. See. So Lord Strongheart had to entreat the nobility to allow it to take place. Do correct me if I'm wrong, my lord. It was a result of that autopsy that a mass murderer was apprehended and justice was done. But Gregson admitted it before he was killed. He admitted that the results of that autopsy were fabricated. You were there at the time. You must testify. You have an obligation to tell the truth about what really went on. Absolutely. That's precisely why I'm here. And that's why I'm here too. Mask flip. Very well. You will give your formal testimony now, witness. But before you begin, a word of warning. Oh? You will state truthfully and accurately what you saw and what you heard at the time. I wouldn't dream of doing otherwise, my lord. The moment your testimony verges on supposition, I will expel you from my courtroom. Remember that. See, this is so weird because he's the one essentially being accused, and yet he's the judge. Don't tell anyone, but I took my Ozempic nap pill. Jordan. I'm gonna tell everyone. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell them. I thought you already napped today, Jordan. Remember that. Mm-hmm. The autopsy of Clint Van Zieks. My own observations, I couldn't say there was any indication of the autopsy results having been fabricated. Death resulted from a wound by a Western-style sword transfixing the heart. That I found a little strange. Oh. Is this the first time that we've talked about Clint's... No, because we have the autopsy, right? Stab wound to the heart. Recent scarlet ink stains visible on the little and ring finger of the right hand. So that's going to be extremely relevant. Okay. Why would he have blood? It's not blood, it's ink. Maybe it's also blood. Dying message. Okay, so there's lots of things it could be, right? It could be blood on his fingers. Why would he have it on his ring and his little finger? What was this written in? What if this was forged? I don't... Well... Okay. Alright. We need more... info. Never forget the gag. Okay. There were no other signs of internal injury, nothing questionable at all. It was just that beautiful but dangerous piece of evidence removed from the man's stomach. Presumed to have been swallowed by the victim. As a way of posthumously identifying his assailant. Wait, what are they talking about? No indication. Nothing to suggest fabrication? Professor Mikotoma, are you certain about that? Well, nothing that I could positively identify as such. Much less swear it to in testimony. Ugh! Well, that clears things up nicely. The only fabrication here, Asuki, has come from you. What? You claim the inspector confessed just before his death, and that is the fabrication. No, he freely acknowledged it, I swear he did. Freely, with the tip of a sword at his throat. The man was clearly at his wit's end. The court will give no credence to this confession that was uttered in obvious desperation. Quite simply, there was nothing questionable about the investigation of Lord Clint Van Zieks' death. And with this testimony we have, without question, uncovered the whole truth of the matter. He's still staring at him. If I may, my lord. There was most certainly something questionable about it. And the whole truth does rather elude us, I feel. I beg your pardon. Well, you're obviously aware of the facts of the case. All 4 of the professor's previous victims died when an enormous beast was set upon them that ripped out their throats. I forgot about this. So, you can prove it wasn't the same killer because of the method of murder, right? If the others were killed by an animal and then the other person was stabbed in the heart, it's like... Party? Oh, I mean, copycat. Oh, such horrifying crimes. But curiously, the killer's last victim, Lord Clint Van Zieks, suffered a different fate. Yes, you're right. He was stabbed through the heart with a sword. That's enough. I believe I warned you about this, witness. I promise to curtail your testimony as soon as it entered the realms of supposition or speculation. Very well, my lord. In that case, the defense will pursue a conclusion to this during the cross-examination. What? I have the right to cross-examine every witness after testimony. And I fully intend to exercise that right. Inosuke. I'm afraid that even the presiding judge has no authority to contravene the letter of the law. And I'm sure every member of the judiciary present in the gallery would agree. Susato definitely iconing as you. Very well, you may begin, counsel. However, the moment your argument strays from the established facts, I will not hesitate to bring the cross-examination to an end. Proceed with caution. Yes, my lord. My own observations, I wouldn't say there was any indication of the autopsy results having been...
Hold it!
Alright. You couldn't say? No, sadly not. But then you couldn't say there wasn't any indication either, could you? No, true, I couldn't. I was at Dr. Wilson's side as he performed the procedure, recording what he did. But at times, of course, he instructed me to fetch implements and such like. Whilst I was away from the operating table, obviously I could have missed something. And at those times, what was the secondary assistant doing? Following this Japanese man's orders to adjust the lighting or pass him implements. That doesn't mean Mama wasn't a vital part of the team. Quite, yes. So, would you kindly refrain from staring at my cheek like that? Professor Mikotoba, think. Was there nothing at all that seemed out of place to you? Well, yes, there was, as a matter of fact. Death resulted from a wound made by a Western-style sword transfixing the heart. That I found a little strange.
Hold it!
In all the previous 4 killings attributed to the professor, the victims were killed by an enormous dog, I believe. Throats were, well, bald. Correct. And yet Lord Van Zeeks was stabbed. Ah! Do you mean to say? You think Lord Clint Van Zeeks may not, in fact, have been one of the professor's victims? There is no basis on which to doubt the findings of the investigations carried out at the time. Oh, there's Dots. Hey, what's up, Dots? Hey, yeah, the dog could have been named Iris, if that's your angle. But Genshin Asugi confessed to all of his crimes upon his arrest. He admitted to having taken the lives of all 5 members of the aristocracy. Yet the beast that was used to carry out the killings was never identified. No evidence was found to suggest that Genshin had ever kept a dog. So, okay, wait. Other than the little puppy, I don't think we've ever seen a dog in this game, have we? Oh, well, there's the puppy. Yeah, that's a bit of a mystery to me right now, actually. Oh, no. Not that. I can't add it, Steven. It's too frightening. Although we do have empty emote slots, but I won't. It is definitely nightmare fuel. Yeah, just like looking through the people, I don't think any of these people are related to a dog other than Gina. A true hound of hell. There were no other signs of internal injury, nothing questionable at all. How old is she? I would actually like to know. I can't check it here, can I? Well, first we have to press, and then we can check. But, you weren't actually present at the autopsy yourself, were you, Dr. Gory? Does that matter? Yes. Holy shit. So she is testifying based on her memory when she was 9 years old. And hearsay from her mother. Okay, go off, sis. Well, I just wonder how useful your testimony could be in that case, really. I mean, it would be different if your mother, Dr. Scythe, were in the stand, but... You'll see a lot of this. I became a professional at 9 years old a lot in the series. I mean, it's kind of an anime, I think. It's like how you'll have, like, hardened war veterans in anime games that are, like, literally 20 years old, and you're just like... Alright, I'm just gonna take you at your word. I've read all the paperwork about the case, and Mama's told me the story countless times. The statement I just made is exactly what's written in the autopsy report. I did confirm that myself at the time, it's true. Besides the stab wound, there were no other signs of internal trauma. I see. Mama told me all about it. Oh? She said there was nothing of note internally. What is his face? But they did find an amazing piece of evidence. Something unbelievable. Believable? What do you mean? Come on, Dr. Gory. What is it? It was just that beautiful but dangerous piece of evidence removed from the man's stomach. Okay. Deduction P? I will be right back. Okay, we're back. Hello. Okay. Alright, let's see what this beautiful but dangerous piece of evidence removed from the man's stomach is. I remember Pengy was conflicted. Here? Peter, I think you entered this in the wrong window. You were writing the wiki. What exactly was it, though? What does beautiful but dangerous mean? Well, it was sparkly and round with a hole. As if it might slip over a finger, perhaps. A ring? Wait. Why would he swallow a ring? I was gonna freak the fuck out if Clint was wearing a ring in this picture. What the hell? Okay, we probably don't have sufficient evidence for this yet. That's a very interesting statement. It was a ring belonging to Genshin Asugi. My father's ring was inside the victim's stomach. What? At the time, Genshin wore a large ring on the digitus cortis of his left hand, the fourth or ring finger. I'd understood it was some sort of keepsake. My father left Japan for London 16 years ago. I was 8 years old. But I remember that ring. You? My father's possessions were sent to our family home in Japan after his death, but the ring wasn't among them. Obviously not. It was a key piece of evidence. It remains under lock and key in the stores at Scotland Yard to this day. After the autopsy, Genshin was summoned by the police to check for the presence of his ring. It wasn't on his hand, of course. Moreover, there were deep abrasions on his fingers where it had been pulled off. What the fuck is this? Okay, this has to be something that we don't know anything about, because I'm like racking my brain for what has been discussed so far. Other than the note that... Wait. Clint is the one that had red ink on his fingers, which could have been blood. Why would Genshin? Oh lord. Okay. They arrested the man then and there, right before my eyes. How could they? I brought the ring along with me today. What? Oh! Here it is, a bit dusty from years in the stores. Good gracious. Yes, that's it. I haven't seen that in 10 long years. Court record! Court record! And that was found inside the victim's stomach. Yes, I'm afraid so. Hesitated there, Professor Nikotoba. Should we read something into that? Well, it's just that thinking back now, I didn't actually witness the moment it was extracted from the victim's body. Wilson. Oh my, really? At that precise moment, Dr. Wilson had asked me to fetch him a new scalpel, you see. Dr. Ori. Removal of the historic evidence from the stores requires my consent. Does it not? I was thinking he was going to be pissed about this. Good response. Good response. However, it came to be here. The court cannot deny that this is crucial evidence for today's proceedings. Well, submit it. A ring belonging to Genshin Asugi found in Lord Clint Van Zeek's stomach during the autopsy. The claws clasping the gem look sharp enough to cause a very nasty scratch. It's not the sort of ring you normally see in Japan. They almost look like claws protecting. These fat claws are doing a good job of protecting the equally fat gemstone in the middle of the spring. Yes, if you were clumsy, you could give yourself a rather nasty cut on them, I should think. Ow! Now my finger's bleeding. The claws really are sharp. Oh my, that was very quick clumsiness, Naruhodo. Even for you. Ugh. Who would make such a dangerous ring? You couldn't swallow it without doing yourself some fairly serious damage, surely. A sticky mochi bun of that size would go down much better, with some red bean paste in the middle. Oh, I have some of those in my freezer. Someone as clumsy as me would probably manage to choke on it somehow. I know, Steven, I have those. We got red bean buns and those Korean pancakes when we were at H-Mart, remember?
Yes.
Once! Okay. Is there any other evidence on it right now, huh? Lines? No. Okay. Alright. We're gonna let that lie for a sec. We must examine it very carefully, Mr. Naruhodo. Very carefully indeed. Okay, well we did, and we didn't get much. So, like...
I'll turn this lie into the truth!
Presumed to have been swallowed by the victim as a way of posthumously identifying his assailant. Right, so it was planted evidence.
Hold it!
It was planted evidence, and Dr. Wilson might have been a racist. That's my current theory. And that was a decisive piece of evidence that led to Genshin Asugi's arrest. Correct. After further investigations by Scotland Yard, the man admitted to its crimes. That last part is likely true for most of the British folk in this game. I mean, we've come across a few. Van Zeek's for sure. Strongheart also, to a degree. That's a lie. My father was no killer. Barrick Van Zeeks, it was you. You twisted the truth to suit your purposes. Your hatred of me doesn't change the facts that were established 10 years ago. My brother Clint had closed in on the professor. In the end, he exposed the man and put a stop to his lethal rampage. In the end, only a man of my brother's caliber could. That's everything. My poor father. He looks so troubled. Perhaps because 10 years ago, something happened that's been weighing on his mind. Oh. I couldn't say, were his words. That phrasing was very deliberate, I'm sure. I wonder if he's had his suspicion all these years. If that's the case, we need to use this cross-examination to prove what really happened, and remove any trace of doubt. If we could establish that Kazuma-sama's claim of fabricated evidence was true, we can't shy away from this now. Even if what we might uncover could lead to total calamity. Don't worry, Mr. Naruhodo, I'll be right beside you, whatever may happen. Okay, so I actually don't know which statements we need to deal with here. I couldn't say there was any indication of the autopsy results being fabricated. Just to be clear, other superficial external wounds, indicative of a duel. Scarlet ink stains visible on the little and ring finger of the right hand, but no document in corresponding ink found. Vital evidence recovered from the victim's stomach during autopsy. Credit to Gregson. No internal trauma noted anywhere in the body. Okay, okay. That's the GOAT sentence. That's how we know. Okay. Only mental trauma. Death resulted from a stab wound. That I found a little strange. There were no other signs of internal injury. Nothing special at all. That beautiful but dangerous piece of evidence removed from the man's stomach. Okay. I'm a little stumped on this one, actually. So, let's remind ourselves, we're trying to present evidence that can contradict one of these statements. And usually the game drops hints after every statement has been read. And they mention that he said I couldn't say, which is in this statement. So I wonder if we are disagreeing with the first statement, which, by the way, is really uncommon for a cross-examination in this game. You almost always are disagreeing with at least the second or beyond statement. I couldn't say there was any indication of the autopsy results having been fabricated. I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, right? Because if that's true, that kind of ruins our case. So it would make sense that this is the one that we're trying to disagree with. The problem is gauging what's taking evidence too far into the assumption. I feel like we need to look at exactly what's written, and that's the only way that the game accepts it as a refute. So I feel like the ring is what we're gonna use. claws clasping the gem look sharp enough to cause a very nasty scratch. I have half a mind to try the ring against all these statements because I feel like my brain is telling me it could work in any of these situations. But I don't feel strongly enough about any of them that I'm like knowing which one to try first. Should we margarita about it? I could margarita about it for a second. I think it's this one. I'm gonna be honest. Because refuting Mikotoba, like, Mikotoba's on our side, technically. It's kind of like in Danganronpa non-stop debates, where, like, you can kind of deduce who you're supposed to disagree with based on your relationships with the characters. Alright, I am gonna mix another margarita, and when we sit down, we are gonna disagree with this. Because she specifically says internal injuries are not present, but it's impossible for that to be true if he swallowed the ring. Which also means it could be this one. Okay, well, we'll think about it for 2 seconds. I will be right back. Okay, hi. Let's try it. Present ring.
Objection.
Okay, easy peasy. First try, no problem. The court has heard that the ring was extracted from the victim's stomach. But you didn't actually see it being removed, did you, Professor Mikotoba? That's right. As I said in my testimony before, at that moment, I was fetching a replacement scalpel that Dr. Wilson had requested. In other words, I can neither confirm nor deny whether this ring, in fact, really came from the victim's stomach or not. What are you suggesting, counsel? That the ring was never in the victim's stomach to begin with. It's entirely feasible that Dr. Wilson fabricated that detail about the autopsy. What are you saying? That Dr. Wilson was in possession of the ring in advance after it was somehow stolen from Mr. Asugi? And he produced it during the procedure, pretending to have found it there, and then in the victim's stomach.
Objection!
You can't object from the witness stand. Supposition at best. What possible evidence do you have to support such a rash claim? It's this evidence right here. That's the autopsy report. Well, now I'm glad Wilson died. Right, well, that's why I was saying I think Wilson has to have been in on this in order to frame Genshin, right? You know, I had a theory at one point where I was like, what if Jigoku was the actual professor? And I'm glad that didn't go anywhere, because I was definitely tinfoil hatting. It's explicit in the reports, counsel. Other than the ring, nothing unusual was noted internally, so I'm not sure how you intend to prove your point. You've already done it for me, my lord. The lack of internal injury says it all. What? To swallow a ring of this size would require considerable effort and determination. And in addition to its size, there are the sharp claws around the gemstone that to contend with. My brother was a determined man, and on the brink of death, even more so, I'm sure. He would have stopped at nothing to ensure that evil killer was brought to justice. But if he really had swallowed that enormous ring, it's inconceivable that no traces of its passage down his throat would have remained as internal trauma. No. And there you've arrived at the sticking point. That's precisely why I had my doubts about the findings myself 10 years ago. Why didn't you say something at the time? I did. I still remember the conversation I had with Dr. Wilson in the laboratory that day. Look at this! Now this is a very curious thing to find in a man's stomach, wouldn't you say? But isn't that rather peculiar, Dr. Wilson? Is that now, Mikotoba? Well, if he swallowed a ring of that size with those sharp metal claws that it has, surely you'd expect to see damage to the throat and esophagus. Torn mucous membranes at the very least. Is the conspiracy unraveling before our very eyes? Yes. Gregson insisted on autopsy. Autopsy finds ring in man's stomach. That wasn't actually there. Bada bing, bada boom. Dr. Mikotoba. Oh, Dr. Mikotoba, may I remind you that I have vastly more experience than you. I'm terribly sorry. I can think of plenty of ways to explain why no injury was seen. No. Let's say this. Victim would appear to have ingested the item as evidence to identify his assailant. Go ahead, write it down. I was right. Dr. Wilson deliberately fabricated the results of the autopsy to implicate my father. I'm disappointed, Counsel. That argument is nothing more than speculation. What? Dr. Wilson was Britain's leading authority on forensic science and autopsy work. There is no scientific basis on which to doubt the man's expert opinion. Pardon the interruption, my lord, but damage to the mucous membranes of the throat is easily identified, even in living subjects. Using a device called an endoscope, recently demonstrated in practical use in France. I want one. The government can pay. I don't think so, and Dr. Gorey, rest assured that your removal of evidence from the stores without permission will not go unpunished. We open up the dead to find the truth. I beg your pardon. But Mama, she chose to stitch her corpses up, with all her secrets inside. That's wrong. Dr. Gorey, it's looking as though she's chosen to walk a different path to her Mama. Yes, the ring. What about the ring? I've just remembered something. An earlier incident. What incident? The one I recounted to you before, about a memory I have of Genshin Asugi saving my life. What? My father saved your life? 10 years ago, on a foggy night, Genshin and I were walking down some back streets at a late hour. All of a sudden... Deep, you're coming with us. There it is! Alright, story time. Have a great night. I will see you next stream. And actually probably see you in the VOD. Hello, future story time. This is the point at which you should resume your viewing of Chapter 5, Part 3, Great Ace Attorney 2. Yeah, so you can watch from there on. Anyways, the ring is there. That is what's important. Okay. Yes, hello, future story time. I hope work is not as busy as last week. Well, I also wish you luck in that department. I already have like a mental checklist of things I have to do at work tomorrow when I get there. Fine. Mondays be Mondaying. It's cool. Alright. All of our assailants were armed with pistols, their faces obscured by scarves. Bang. The next thing I knew, there was silence all around. Genshin lay on the cobbled street. Blood was seeping from his left hand. It shielded me. It was on the ring finger of his left hand that he used to wear that. Ah! Are you saying? I've always believed those thugs were after me, but now I'm starting to question if perhaps I wasn't the intended target after all. Wait, but... Genshin was arrested 2 days after that attack, And in this short interval, the decisive evidence needed to indict him was miraculously found. I mean, the ring was stolen. Think that's what those thugs were after that night?
Objection!
Aw, Kazuma. You pathetic coward. You expect me to believe that you weren't involved? What do you mean by that? It was you, wasn't it? You're the one who took it. You stole my father's ring. That could be. You set the whole thing up so you could paint him as a master. Kazuma. Open your eyes. Yonosuke. You must know deep down. The truth can be completely obscured, even when your judgment is only slightly clouded. But at that moment, you seem to be floundering through a dense fog. Is that why you were so insistent I should be present in this trial? To see you like this? Not the fog of war. Well, this is an amusing spectacle. What a grandiose expression on your face, as if you were Lady Justice herself. It seems you've thoroughly convinced yourself of this alleged fabrication of the autopsy results. So much so that you're apparently blind to the blatant contradiction that would be born of it. What? Though it's extremely hard to believe, let us imagine that there was some misconduct during the autopsy. If that were the case, why would Asugi not have disputed the finding in his trial? Oh. In the closed court hearing 10 years ago, the defendant never once denied the claims against him. Which is really weird. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zeeks? Yes, that is indeed correct. Upon hearing the verdict of guilty, he merely closed his eyes, quietly accepting the judgment. Strongar could legit be blackmailing everyone, that's correct. Where's the... Yeah, there's definitely, like, a deeper mystery here that we haven't touched. Why did he accept it? The actions of a man who has accepted responsibility for his deeds and is resigned to his fate. But then... Oh my, that is very strange. If Mr. Asugi did nothing to oppose the charges against him, then that would surely mean there was no fabricated evidence. An obvious conclusion at which you should have arrived many minutes ago, Prosecutor Asugi. Your twisted loyalty and clouded judgment are hampering your ability for logical thought. Ah! Genshin Asugi's silence at his hearing can mean only one thing. There was no fabrication of evidence during the autopsy of his final victim 10 years ago. But if that autopsy was all above board, There'll be nothing to stop Lord Strongheart bringing this trial to an immediate conclusion.
Objection!
Thank you, Ryunosuke. If it wasn't for your frank words just now, this trial may very well have ended prematurely. Kazuma. What's this latest absurdity, Council? My lord, your reasoning is perfectly sound, but for one giant hole. I beg your pardon. You claim my father's silence was due to the fact that there was no fabricated evidence. But there's another possible explanation. You've overlooked the possibility that he had a reason for maintaining that silence.
Objection!
Silence that would have led him to being convicted and sent to his death. If that autopsy results were an invention... Oh. There's no conceivable reason why the man wouldn't have protested.
Objection!
Oh, those results were an invention, alright. There's no question of that. Or are you forgetting that 2 people with a connection to that autopsy have been assassinated? You should practice the Van Zeeks. So, Van Zeeks always did the, like... But this time it was pointing directly at the camera, whereas usually it's from this angle. So, very fun. I think it's still the same pose. But, yeah. Also, guys, I'm gonna take, like, a quick few-minute break. I'm just gonna check in with Kev since you just got home. So, I will be right back. David?
I'm scared.
Stop that right now.
Session, 行きます。決まった。So saved. Hun, sweetie, love, darling.
Yes, hi, hello. Honey, sweetie, love, darling. Okay. Not Ifrit immediately.
Hun, sweetie, love, darling.
Not Ifrit immediately going on Unicorn Overlord. Ridiculous. Fun fact, we're already 50 hours into Unicorn Overlord. How does that happen? Alright. Are you forgetting that the two people with a connection to the autopsy have been assassinated? Alright, alright. Kazuma's literally bringing out the facts right now. Okay. If I force the grievances I feel from my mind, I start to see you in a very different light. I think perhaps it's you who's been living in delusion these 10 years. Me. Yes. Kazuma-sama has created one last chance for us here, Mr. Naruhodo. If we can only show there was a reason for his father's silence in that trial. Blackmail against his son. I don't know if that's true. A reason why the man would have said nothing, even though he was innocent. Could it have been part of some negotiation, perhaps? Enough rhetoric. The court must be shown evidence. What proof do you have that could possibly explain Asugi's silence in court? Okay. I think this is where it goes. We have to. We're just gonna do it. We're just doing it.
Take that!
This is the defense's answer to that question. Fuck! Okay. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not... Okay. 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 That's actually... Wait. What did Susato say? She said, if Kazuma-sama's father knew that the evidence being used to convict him was fabricated, why would he have said nothing? If it were me, I'd have protested my innocence until I was blue in the face. So if we're right about the autopsy results, there must have been a strong reason for his silence. Well then, perhaps he's saying nothing in exchange for some sort of clemency. Yeah. Lord, the defense would like to... Enough rhetoric. The court must be shown evidence. What proof do you have that... Oh my god. Okay. The Asugi papers had nothing to do with it, which I'm so surprised about, actually. Crap. Most of this isn't relevant. Venus was throwing firecrackers at him, so he had to stay silent. Maybe. Where's Iris during all this? Wait. Did we just stumble into the truth? Negotiation with the prison staff! Okay. Did he lie to figure out the truth? Only very high-level deduction games have us do that. Or sometimes when I'm Liddy playing Among Us, you know. Okay. It's this. It has to be this. This is it. The dismissal notice.
Take that!
I can't believe this tied in. It's true that Genshin Asugi's silence during his trial resulted in his conviction. But that didn't actually lead to his execution. On the contrary. It led to his escape. An escape that was only possible because he'd been sentenced to death. Although I find it hard to believe my father would have negotiated it in that way, the defense is correct. A fake execution, falsification of a death certificate, and a jailbreak inside a coffin. Clearly, such an elaborate plan couldn't have been carried out by my father alone. Must have had the help of a collaborator from the judiciary. I have here the dismissal notice of Chief Warder, who was working in the prison at that time. The notes read, there are indications that the jailbreak was in planning prior to the inmate's incarceration. In other words, there were suggestions of some sort of negotiation between Mr. Asugi and the British government in exchange for his silence in court. He was given an assurance that he would be broken out of prison. Yes, with that sort of clandestine arrangement in place, I can imagine he would have kept very quiet. So, did we ever figure out who shot the professor as he rose up out of the ground? I don't think we did. I would go further than that, in fact. I would say that the elaborate jailbreak of Mr. Asugi can be explained in no other way. Order, order. First fabricated evidence, and now a jailbreak conspiracy. Of course, because it's all intimately linked. Prosecution wishes to summon new witnesses to the stand. Oh, Steven, your guy is coming back. I guarantee you he's coming back. People who can testify about the jailbreak that took place 10 years ago. Governor Kaiden. Which I am really bad at reading his lines, so I'm not looking forward to his testimony. And the poor chief warder of the prison. I won't allow this trial to turn into a farce. To summon the governor of the prison after all these years. Oh, it wouldn't be any trouble, my lord. What? Father? My dear friend may appear a little rattle-pated at times, but I can assure you he is extremely thorough. He wired both Barclay and the local prison earlier, asking Governor Kaiden and Mr. Vigil to attend the Old Bailey as a matter of extreme urgency. Mr. Sholmes did that? You telling me that? Both men are, unless I'm much mistaken, waiting just outside the courtroom at this very moment. My lord, you must permit the trial to proceed as you declared at its outset.
I'll turn this lie into the truth.
You promised that we would stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Very well. Bring in the witnesses. Make no mistake, I too would like nothing more than to lay this business to rest once and for all. Strongheart, you are going to get in big trouble here. There he is. And of course, Fanzeeks is still chilling. Would the new witnesses state their names and occupations for the court, please? Aye. Barry Kaiden, governor of Barclay Prison. I don't remember his voice. Everyone calls me Gossip. I sell, your other persona if you don't mind. Ooh! Oh, I do beg your pardon, of course. My name is Daily Vigil. I used to be the chief warder at Barclay Prison. The reason you've been summoned here to court today is to testify about the jailbreak of the so-called professor 10 years ago. Losh! The professor? We've already been through all this before, a decade ago. And the conclusion was that there was nae anything untoward happened. A convict escaped from your prison, Governor. Hardly what you'd call nothing untoward. Well, the convict's death certificate was somehow falsified after he was allegedly executed, and he escaped the prison inside his own coffin. A plan of that complexity could never have been carried out without the help of somebody of influence inside the prison. Governor Kaiden, don't imagine that the passage of time will afford you any protection. If it turns out that you were involved in the plot to break Mr. Asugi out of prison, then of course, the consequences will be very serious. In all likelihood, a capital punishment. Gods! Hold on there, laddie! Witness, Governor Kaiden. Yes, aye, sir! You have a critical role to play in the public safety of our country, a great responsibility to shoulder. The significance of your testimony in court cannot be understated. Therefore, think before you speak. And Prosecutor Asugi, if you threaten the witness again, you will be held in contempt. My apologies, my lord. There's no disputing the fact that an intricate jailbreak plot was enacted 10 years ago. Clearly, you were both involved in some way. So if you will testify before the court now and explain exactly what took place. Very well. Let the witnesses give their formal testimony. Tell the court everything you know of the plot to break Asugi out of Barclay 10 years ago. It was the day that Japanese jock was found... Jock? Guilty. The directive came from the prosecutor's office. I assigned the convict to the chief warder Vigil here, and put the plan into action behind the scenes. I was responsible for Asugi right up until the night of his execution, but I knew nothing of any plot. I didn't care if there was some negotiations between the convict and the prosecutor's office. All I did was carry out my duty for Her Majesty's Great British Empire. A directive from the prosecutor's office. Are you saying that was the jailbreak plot? Aye, that's right. Who sent it? Who authorized that plan? I didn't ken that. I'm saying you don't know. Listen, there was nae a thing about that professor case that was nae unusual in some way. I didn't ask any questions. I just did what I was told to do. More than that, I couldn't tell you. I see. We're thinking Kaiden is related to Kate Sith. I'm also thinking that way. Kate Sith does a much better job at the voice acting than I do, though. But if the jailbreak plan originated from the prosecutor's office, then one thing is very clear. As suspected, there were clandestine dealings going on between Mr. Asugi and that office. The jailbreak was promised in exchange for Mr. Asugi admitting to crimes he didn't commit. That, counsel, is nothing more than speculation on your part. So, let me ask the defense. Oh, yes, my lord. I fail to see how these witnesses have any more pertinent information here. Do you intend to assert your right to a cross-examination? Absolutely. I have no intention of squandering a single opportunity, my lord. It seems all you Japanese are fiercely tenacious. Very well, proceed, counsel. Alright, it was the day the Japanese truck was found guilty. The directive came from the prosecutor.
Hold it!
Let's talk about it. And you say you don't know who actually issued the directive. Aye, that's right. All I can be sure of is that it was official. And if it was from the prosecutor's office, that narrows down who could have issued it straight away. It wasn't me. And can I even say with certainty that it did originate from the prosecutor's office? Hi, Steven. What? There's no telling where it started. There's a fair chance it came from higher up the ladder. Like Strongheart, perhaps. Basically, I can't give you any indication of who was behind it. Can't be serious. All we can say for sure is that the order must have come from somebody in authority, I suppose. The likes of us on the ground, as it were, didn't bother with idle speculation. We just get the job done. I assign the convict to the chief border vigil here and put the plan into action behind the scenes.
Hold it!
So, Mr. Vigil, you didn't know anything about it at all. That's right. My only role in the scheme was as a scapegoat. That's right, isn't it, Governor? Some poor beggar had to take the rap for it. Alright then, who else did know about the plan? I've no the first idea, laddie. My part in the whole business was basically just dealing with the aftermath. But I wouldn't be surprised if there were other folk in the prison service who'd been given similar orders. So you don't know who else was involved. Aye, that's right. All I can tell you is that the night it actually happened, the person at the reins was Dr. Stevens. Dr. Courtney Stevens, or Dr. Scythe, as she's known now. Why did I have to get caught up in such a terrible business? I was responsible for Osuki right up until the night of his execution, but I knew nothing of any plots. Did you not notice anything unusual happening in the lead up to the night? Oh, everything was unusual, exception after exception. After all, it was the professor. The man had terrorized the country as never before with his crimes. In order to hide his identity, he was forced to wear an iron mask over his head. Hideous treatment. The fellow was surprisingly docile for someone who'd taken the lives of 5 of the country's nobles. Being the chief warder, I was the only person permitted to approach his cell. I can still hardly believe that I was duped by my own country. I believe you jumped from the window of the governor's office when the jailbreak was blamed on you, didn't you? Gosh, Vigil, I can't apologize enough. No, Governor, I don't believe you can. It won't change what's happened. Alright, get his ass. And what else can you tell us about the situation, Governor Kaiden? I don't know if there was some negotiation between the convict and the prosecutor.
Hold it!
You've already acknowledged that orders came from the prosecutor's office to arrange for the man's escape. There must have been some sort of negotiation. It's the only explanation. Well, be that as it may, I can nothing about that. The witness's stand is no place for telling what you don't know for sure, and that much I do. And I presume you also know this. Not telling what you do know is a criminal offense. So you were just following orders, is that it? I'm afraid that I won't absolve you guilty. A man that was still killed illegally, even if he was a condemned criminal. You may very well be found complicit in murder, Governor. So that's what it's to be, is it? Even with the the threat of conviction, you won't break your silence. All I did was carry out my duty for Her Majesty's Great British Empire.
Hold it!
This is the last one for us. Did you carry out the plan in its entirety? I did everything I could at the time. As you know, Genshin Asugi was shot dead in Lowgate Cemetery after the escape. Tell me, was that part of the plan too? My instructions were to do with getting the jock out of the jail and nothing more. I cannot tell you anything about what's happened after that. Only, personally, I believe his death was
What does this all mean?
the last part of the plan. Alright, it's time for a very big excuse me.
Excuse me.
Mr. Vigil, is something wrong? Oh, wow! Yes, sir. What can I do for you, sir? He's saluting now. What is this? Some sort of Barclay convention? What Governor Kaiden was just saying seemed to upset you. Did it bring something to mind, perhaps? For the last 10 years, I've completely blotted out the memories of that time from my mind. I was betrayed by my superiors in the name of my country. Just as my father was betrayed, it seems. But you see, thinking back now, I really can't imagine that the shooting of Mr. Asugi in the cemetery was ever part of the plan. What makes you think that? Well, it just doesn't make sense, does it? To make the man admit to crimes he didn't commit, the promise of a jailbreak, only to kill him in the end. I don't know, I think that makes a lot of sense, actually. That's treachery of the worst kind. But the point is, if the intention was always to betray him, why would there be any need for all of the chicaneries of escape? Yes, that's quite true. If whoever negotiated with Asugi never intended to keep his or her end of the bargain, it would have been far simpler just to let the man be executed in prison as dictated by his sentence. That is correct. Why would they do that? Someone wanted to kill him. Maybe independently. Could have been Van Zeeks. I did seltzer, lime, tequila, and then I added a little grapefruit juice. Orange stuff? That's if you want grapefruit margarita. You could do another flavor if we have something else. You have Sprite or... yeah, I'm like brainstorming this one. I'm actually not sure. Okay. It all happened in that vast chamber of secrets that is Barclay, behind the high prison walls. I suppose nobody knows what really went on in the execution now. Yes, it's an unsettling mystery, certainly. Truth be told, there is a wee matter that's never quite made sense to me. If you believe there was some kind of negotiation behind the jailbreak between Asugi and a body at the top, it doesn't quite add up, does it? Governor Kaiden, I must insist that you explain these doubts you have by amending your formal testimony. Alright, Gads! I go on then. Okay, it seems to me that the Japanese fella didn't have nothing to do to bargain with. Wait a minute. Hi, Pengy, I hope the Ozempic is helping you out with a trial. We are currently not indulging in any Ozempic, but thank you for this one. And I wish you luck with your own Ozempic journey.
Hold it!
Admitting to the crimes, that was what he had to bargain with, surely. I can see that myself. After all, did the prosecution have conclusive evidence against the Charlie, eh? This, you mean, discovered during the final victim's autopsy. There's every possibility this conclusive evidence was fabricated by Scotland Yard and the prosecutor's office.
Objection!
Possibilities are all very well, but nothing has been proven. You can holler about misconduct in the trial 10 years ago all you like. But if you can't establish that it happened with hard evidence, no one's going to listen. Aye, that's right. So what I'm saying is, the convict had nothing he could use for any kind of bargain at all. The witness makes a very astute point. Logically, it would seem no negotiation could have taken place. And yet, the plan to break the man out of prison was definitely put into practice. So he must have been armed with something that gave him an angle to negotiate. But what? So, Asugi-san agreed to confess to the crimes because he was assured he'd be broken out of prison later. I really don't think that Kazuma-sama's father would have engaged in such a negotiation. That perhaps something compelled him to agree. What a terrible thing. Using the law to legitimize such underhanded dealings with a desperate man, only to double-cross him in the end. It's quite the opposite of justice. Can't help the feeling. There's something about this apparent negotiation that doesn't quite add up. Something doesn't quite add up, Mr. Naruhodo. No, it doesn't. But I can't quite put my finger on that yet. Well, in that case, we must keep digging until we identify the problem. Okay, so we did unlock, like, an amended testament. It seems to me that the Japanese fella didn't have nothing to bargain with. I really feel like it's gonna come down to these stupid Asugi papers. Any and all material possessions and wealth belonging to me in London be delivered to my son Cosmo. This is like the only thing that's relevant, I think. There's like a weird, freaky reality where it's the sword for no reason, but I really think this is the Asugi papers. I've been waiting to use the Asugi papers. They don't have any reason to honor his request to send his shit to Kazuma. Right? He would have to make a deal in order for that to happen. Let's just try it.
Objection!
Okay, we got his ass. We got his ass. We are good. Did it. Confessing under oath 2 murders he didn't commit on a verbal assurance of later being broken out of prison. I thought for sure it was the red-headed wig. That wig barely, honestly, was probably the weirdest part of this trial because I feel like it wasn't relevant really at all. And you know what? I'm just going to say this. I am still proud of myself last night for figuring out that the fetal position, rigor mortis, was relevant to what they were talking about, and we did it. I'm still living. Okay. Alright. Genshin Asugi was taking an incredibly risky gamble. Very true. There was nothing to stop the British breaking their word and executing him behind closed doors anyway. Under normal circumstances, no man would stake his life on a gentleman's agreement like that. Which means that Mr. Asugi must have had a trump card. Something that guaranteed he wouldn't be betrayed. Some kind of weapon. Havers, the fella couldn't possibly have had anything like that. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. The wording of this. The wording of this. Is it the sword? Are they really gonna play the sword on us right now? But you know that he did, Governor. The Asugi Papers. The name given to the last will and testament of Genshin Asugi. It turns out that Mr. Asugi was hiding his will even, in his cell at Barclay. Chief Warder Vigil caught him with it one day. You squealed, did ya, you wee rat? Did I no tell you to keep that a secret? I mean, you betrayed him, sir. He can do whatever he wants. Wait, what is it? I can't. If only someone could do it better. You can't touch me now! Oh, he is. Mr. Vigil caught sight of that will through the bars of the convict's cell. Mr. Asugi pleaded with the warder. On that paper. The last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now. That's what he meant by weapon, not the sword. Alright, we're good. We're good, we're Gucci. Weapon. And after the convicts had been killed following the elaborate pretense of a jailbreak, that document mysteriously disappeared, didn't it? Well, yes. All the prison warders searched through the belongings in his cell, but that will just was nowhere to be found. As I understand it, an exhaustive search was made for the document, which became known as the Asugi Papers. Governor Kaiden, I believe you ordered your prison staff to find it at all costs, didn't you? Yeah. Would I be right in saying that you knew? You knew that the so-called Asugi Papers had the potential to make great waves somehow. Jings! What the blazes are you blethering about? The will was found, right and proper, in the fella's cell where I said it would be. And how can that be? Where in his cell? Why is he... We all searched the place from top to bottom. Well, you didn't do a proper job, you peely-wally galoot. What is... You can't criticize me now. Vigil's an icon and you love him. He's kind of gay-coded, I'm not gonna lie. Can't criticize me now. I showed it to you before, did I know, yon lawyer? Yes, you did. I have the document here. It's written in Japanese and reads, The Last Will and Testament of Genshin Asugi. Which means everything is as it should be. Not quite, my lord. You see, there's an undeniable inconsistency here. What? What inconsistency? Mr. Asugi described this document as the only weapon he had left, and yet this will contains nothing of significance at all. Nothing that would have given the convict any leverage. Are you suggesting, my learned friend, that the last will and testament stored at Barclay Prison all these years is actually a thing? Yes. As has clearly been demonstrated already, what went on at Barclay Prison was far from above board. That last vilification by the defense was an affront to the entire British legal system. This absurd notion of a weapon is something for which we have only the former Chief Warder's word. The man could quite easily be lying, or at least sorely mistaken. What? No, I definitely heard him say that, I swear! Clearly, we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to know exactly what happened with these so-called Asugi papers. A waste of time. If the will was fake, where is the real document? Oh, I need to phone Sholmes. And he will tell us. That is where this is gonna go. Mark my words. Mr. Vigil was stabbed in the back by the judiciary 10 years ago. He lost everything. His own life. And now you're going to do it again. You're ready to brand him a liar and turn your back on him without even letting him defend himself. It's clear that Barclay is hiding something. It's clear that jailbreak was masterminded by somebody in the prosecutor's office. It's clear that some illicit negotiations took place. Is your lordship just going to gloss over these obvious facts? What you say? Testify! Trial must go on. It would seem that a vocal few here are utterly blind to the truth. Very well then, let the witness testify. Tell the court precisely what you think you saw of the convict's last will and testament. Yes, sir, my lord. As the warder responsible for condemned convicts, I attended to Mr. Asugi and kept watch over his cell. The night after he was found guilty in court, he was doing something with that will in his cell. We turned the cell inside out looking for it after the execution, but to no avail. I only found out about the Asugi papers when a directive came telling me to impound them. The document was in the folds of the fellow's robe that he was left in his cell. A kimono, I think it's called. In his kimono? That's a lie! We searched every inch of the man's cell. We looked through all his clothes. It can't be true. You no satisfied with calling me a liar once, eh, you wee waffinger? Ah! There's nothing you can do about it now. You don't have any hold over me anymore. Oh. Other than The hold you like to take on my cravat, of course. Is that what you're going to do, is it? Are you going to give me a good shake again? Or are you too scared? Little and large. The double act. We complied with Asugi's will as far as was possible. All of his personal effects were delivered to his family home in Japan. As a courtesy to the homeland of the most notorious killer our country has ever seen. Much obliged. I can confirm that all of my father's belongings have arrived safely. Aye, and you can deny the handwriting's that of your old man, eh? Yes, there's no mistaking that it's my father's brushwork. Really. And this last will and testament was the man's last weapon, was it? I think we can safely assume that the convict was merely prattling, knowing that his end was nigh. So, counsel for the defense. Your cross-examination, please. Yes, my lord. Alright. As the warder responsible for condemned convicts, I attended to Mr. Asugi and kept him for himself.
Hold it!
So, would that mean that you converse with Mr. Asugi? Yes, certainly. Though there was precious little time before his execution was due. He was remarkably calm, considering his days were very much numbered. In all honesty, he really didn't strike one as a man capable of mass murder. Yet he confessed in full to the crimes. I know. That's why I felt compelled to ask him one day. I can still recall his reply. I'm guilty of the unforgivable crime of ending another human life, yes. Now, what would he mean by that if he wasn't a murderer? Does that mean he knew Vigil was gonna be blamed? That's like a stretch, right? But he was so tranquil and intelligent. It put me in mind of an Eastern holy man. And what about the will you saw him with? What can you tell us about that? It was the beginning of all the drama. I remember it very well, yes. Okay. Night after he was found guilty in court, he was doing something with that will in his cell.
Hold it!
And he pleaded with you not to report him, didn't he? Yes, that's right. And like the Vampot Yar, you didn't tell me. A blatant breach of trust, that was. I could see that the man had a noble spirit. I found myself wanting to treat him accordingly. But according to what you told us 2 days ago, the convict had been strictly forbidden from having any writing materials whatsoever. Yes, you're quite right about that. Ah, so when exactly was the will penned? That was before the man was remanded in Barclay, obviously. Yes, at the prosecutor's office under supervision of relevant authorities. I personally instructed Asugi to make a will for the benefit of his family in his land. Alright, so I'm wilding here a little bit. Did he write a will and then make amendments to the will in blood using his own ring? Which is extremely anime, because anyone knows that if you cut your finger, it's impossible to write with blood. But in anime land, this checks out, I think. In that case, why was it found in his cell? What do you mean by that? Well, if it was penned at the prosecutor's office, you would have expected that it would remain there for safekeeping. Ah! It's curious. There doesn't seem to be any obvious explanation for why it was subsequently found in the convict cell. Ah, well, the defense makes an astute point. Oh, Governor. A prison governor can be expected to ken the inner workings of the prosecutor's office. In that case, Lord Strongheart, perhaps you can shed some light on the matter. I don't think Strongheart is gonna do that at all. I'm unable to offer an explanation here and now. I would have to consult with the notary responsible for the will at the time. What? The fact that my father's will was discovered in his cell is clearly inconsistent with what was expected. I want to know why. Another inexplicable mystery, then. Well, the thing is about that will... Yes? He turned the cell inside out looking for it after the execution, but to no avail.
Hold it!
It was the governor who ordered the search for the will, as I understand it. Is that right? Yes, and when I reported back that we couldn't find it, he grabbed me by the cravat and yelled, "It can have disappeared completely," in my face. Okay, this guy is... Aye, well, it's doing the government to keep everybody working as hard as they should. I think the governor needs a wee taste of his own medicine, Mr. Naruhodo. The point is, it was clearly considered a very important document, wasn't it? But it proved impossible to find. Keep in mind that he chose those gossip lips as a disguise. It's very theatrical. He really is. That's right. Then, before I knew it, it was in the morning paper. That blood-curdling article. The executed mass murderer who'd risen from the dead. Oh, you mean... the article based on Mr. Drebber's experience in Logate Cemetery. Yes, that was it. The day after I'd read that news, I was summoned to the governor's office. And that's when the awful accusation was made. That you aided Genshin Asugi to escape the prison, resulting in your immediate dismissal. I'm afraid I really don't remember anything after that. He does! As the governor of the prison, I had no choice. I couldn't have done anything else. I only found out about the Asugi papers when a directive came telling me to impound them.
Hold it!
And that directive came from the same source as the one instructing you about the jailbreak. From the top levels of the prosecutor's office. Oh, name was on it. Sashin. I didn't ken before, and I didn't ken now. All I can tell you is that my orders were to do everything in my power to find that document. Directive said it had to be somewhere inside the fellow's cell. Document. Was that the wording? Document, not will. That's what it said? Am I clutching at straws here? Just wonder if it was really Genshin Asugi's last will and testament that the sender of the directive was after. Wait. We don't know about another... Continue with your testimony then, witness. Okay, that's probably what we're disagreeing with. Okay. Second to last. The document was in the folds of the fellow's robe that was left in the cell, a kimono, I think it's called. Right? That's also probably a lie. In Mr. Asugi's kimono. That's the one he brought with him when he was locked up. Yes. He was permitted to have his personal effects with him during the incarceration, I understand. That's right. He was granted as much freedom as possible during the few days before his execution. Indeed. He had a number of items of personal significance, I remember. He was very reluctant to part with them. Some books, that kimono, his sword. The sword! Oh my god! Okay, wait. The sword, I've been waiting for this to come up. I've been waiting for this. It's somewhere in here. There's something, there's a document. There's like a... Yes. Alright. Never mind me. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Karma, the famous sword of the Asugi clan. It bears the soul of my family. I don't doubt it, but I wasn't really getting at that. Forget it being the soul of the clan. Could the man have had a more obvious weapon? Have some respect for Inosuke. Please silent? Warders carry firearms at all times, and the inmates have shackles around their ankles. He couldn't have hurt anybody with that thing. Still, he was allowed a sword, but no writing materials. Alright, this is when the anime blood thing comes into play. Alright. Wrote that will before he came to stay with us at Barclay Prison, you see. Dr. Mikotobo was asked to bring the necessary Japanese writing implements to the prosecutor's office. A Suzuri inkstone, black sumi ink, and some hanshi rice paper, no doubt. Rice paper makes me think of Korean barbecue. I'm getting hungry. I was present when he wrote it, and I'm sorry to say, the letters just looked like a squirmin' mess of jet black earthworms to me. Oh my god, this guy.
Excuse me.
Are you feeling faint, Mr. Vigil? Mr. Vigil! Sir! It was Scarlet, sir. Not black. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to blurt it out like that. Less swaying and more explaining would be helpful. Is it something about the testimony we just heard? Have you recalled something important? Something of importance, possibly, or possibly not. I am unable to tell which way he's leaning, I'm afraid. My lord, the defense asks that Mr. Vigil be permitted to supplement his testimony with this possibly or possibly not important detail. Permission granted. Go ahead, Mr. Vigil. Yes, it was Scarlet. As I remember, the document was written in scarlet ink, but perhaps I'm mistaken.
Hold it!
Scarlet ink, you say? Well, yes. I mean, I only caught sight of it for a brief moment, of course. But even by the dim light in the cell, I remember thinking that it was an unusual color. At the very least, I'm quite sure it wasn't black. Now he's pissed. Witness! Is that really what you saw? What? Sir! Is something wrong, Lord Strongheart? Sir? I apologize. Continue. Okay. 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 It's happening. It is for sure happening. How's the league going? What do you make of that, Mr. Naruhodo? For Lord Strongheart to be so visibly shaken in that way. Ah, Danae, ever? You can plainly see the writing here, and it's black as the Earls of Hell waits. Oh. Are we winning? Are we slaying? Well, yes, you're right. Mr. Vigil, I'd like to confirm one point with you. Did you actually see the content of the document that Mr. Asagi was holding that night? Oh, well, no. I mean, there was no time. As soon as he noticed me, he hid it behind his back. But it was definitely a will, was it? Yes, it was. That's what Mr. Asagi told me. The court need waste no further time on this matter. We have the will in question in our possession. There is nothing more to add. A will written in scarlet ink. What did Mr. Vigil really see Kazuma's father holding, I wonder? If you have an inkling, Mr. Naruhodo, you must present it to the court at once. That testimony didn't give much away. So this will really was penned by Kazuma-sama's father. I wonder what he could have possibly meant when he described it as a weapon. It's starting to sound very much like Mr. Asagi actually had nothing. But the plan to break him out of jail went ahead, which means he must have had some bargaining power. He must have been hiding something. It's the only explanation that makes sense. It's starting to sound like Mr. Asagi actually might have had something. Which is it, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm not sure, but I feel as though I'm on the brink of understanding all of this. Let's listen to all the information again and see what more I can learn. We can't overlook even the smallest detail. Absolutely. Okay. It literally, it has to be this. Does it? Alright, he didn't have his ring at the time, right? So the ring is not relevant. Ooh. It's custom heaven. And why did the owner of the poop not pick up the poop? Like, what is wrong with people? Why are they bringing service animals into retail stores and then having them poop and not picking it up. Like, what is going on? Okay, there's nothing to examine on the sword, and that makes me really upset. Hi, Thomas. So wait a minute. What if this trunk was scratched years before? Hangover? Not at 9 p.m. It's Cinco de Drinko. What is this? Oh, Lord, Thomas. Thomas, you've got to get your act together. Why? What possibly... Okay, I'm not stumped, but I need to think about this. We can't possibly be disagreeing with any of the other statements, right? As I remember, the document was written in scarlet ink, but perhaps I'm mistaken. The document was found in the folds of the fellow's kimono. I attended Mr. Asugi. Yeah, I don't think we disagree with Vigil, to be honest. This is a little suspicious, right? Because we kind of think he's lying about it. The document was in the folds of the fella's robe that he left at his cell. Oh no. And he already got kind of called out for that being not right. As I remember it, the document was written in scarlet ink, or perhaps I'm mistaken. Okay, this mentions scarlet ink. I think we have to. But why is this in Clint's autopsy? Like, what?
Objection!
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I am proud of myself for getting that first try. Because I was definitely not spiraling, but like I was thinking of lots of different things that it could be. Thank you, Dots. Wow. What? 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 Okay. Scarlet-colored writing is what you said you thought you saw, Mr. Visual. And I believe that's exactly what you did see. What? Havers again? You've no evidence to say that. Have a look at this report. That's my brother's autopsy report. Yes. And there's something in here that's bothered me since the first I read it. It states that scarlet-colored ink stains were noted on the victim's fingers, right hand. Yes, so it does. Scarlet ink? Now, I'm not familiar with the habits of the British aristocracy, I freely admit. And I would hazard a guess that they don't all go around with ink stains on their fingertips, do they? Your wit is not appreciated. My brother was a well-bred and fastidious man. Should ink have sullied his fingertips, he would have cleaned them immediately. What is your point, counsel? My point is this. Whatever Lord Clint Van Zeeks was writing in that unusually colored ink, it must have been directly before his death. Because he died before he had the opportunity to clean his hand. What? Remember, something troubled me at the time. At the scene, the lid of my brother's inkwell was open. But Clint was punctilious about such things, it seemed unusual. And no document color of the ink that was in the inkwell was ever found. The document had disappeared. Are you suggesting the document my father had in his hand that night in his cell was the same document that Lord Clint Van Zeeks was writing moments before his death? Then it was... If Mr. Vigil's testimony is to be believed, it can only mean that yes. Mr. Vigil. Sir? When you spotted Mr. Asagi with the document in his cell, his precise words were as follow, were they not? It's on that paper. The last will and testament. Ah! See, that is so Ace Attorney. The way it's worded, he did not say my last will and testament, he said a last will and testament. Alright, clarity P, be right back.
Another happy customer. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, hello? Yeah, I'm back. What of it? I was not gone that long. No matter what anyone says, I was not. There was bathroom and drink making and taco, construction? But, yeah. We've had some breakthroughs, in the most recent part of the trial, which is amazing. So, okay. We realized it's not his dad. Wait. What are the exact words?
Get your act together!
I know, Natalie. No, we're getting it together. We got it. We got this. Okay, so Genshin's last will was written in black. But, Clint's was written in red. And he had Clint's last will for some reason. A last will and testament. If the conversation really did go as Mr. Vigil says, then what we now know completely changes the meaning of what Mr. Asuki said. You really think Mr. Vigil did indeed see the convict with a will, but it wasn't that of Genshin Asuki. It was the last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zieks. So, is it your last will and Margarita, or a last will and Margarita? I don't know, Steven. Listen, this Margarita is red. Why? Because I put grenadine in it like a psycho. I did it, though. And you know what? I don't regret it. Yeah. Not a grenade. Grenadine.
I'm scared.
The other ones had grapefruit. Your second favorite. Yes. Why, yes. Alright. Let's see. This is madness. My brother's last will and testament. That would mean that he had chosen to die. That is what it would mean. Yes. Oh, that's a twist, actually. Wait, we don't know why. Oh, shit. This is not ending soon, is it? No, impossible. That is utterly out of the question. Lord Van Zieks. Clint was pursuing the professor. It consumed him day and night. Whatever happened, he would never have abandoned his investigation before its conclusion. Never. What does it mean? He wouldn't rest until the job was done, until the killer was caught. The idea that he would willingly accept his own death is obscene.
Objection!
And yet we can be sure that he was writing his will months before his death. And that Genshin Asugi came to be in possession of that document. So what could the will possibly have contained? Truly something that couldn't be made public under any circumstances whatsoever. Because armed with that document, my father was able to negotiate with the judiciary for his life. Okay, wait. This is simple, right? He discovered that Strongheart was the professor. He discovered that Strongheart was the professor. And when Genshin got the document that said that, that's when they negotiated and subsequently assassinated him. That makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. It was something so damning that it prompted the powers that be to exact that daring jailbreak plot. Yes, there can be no question that the will contained information of the utmost secrecy, even. Information of the utmost secrecy. No, it couldn't be. I've heard more than enough. Pursuing this notion of a phantom will... Nobody... Oh, a phantom will. Nobody can attest to having seen. Serves absolutely no purpose. No, my lord, that's unacceptable. What did you say, Council? The last will and testament that Genshin Asugi had in his possession was that of Lord Clint Van Zieks. All the testimony and evidence presented to the court has logically led us to that as a possibility. We have a duty to pursue the line of reasoning to its conclusion. But with no possible means of knowing the content of the document, there is no line of reasoning to pursue. Van Zieks is freaking out. Reason why Lord Clint Van Zieks, a man of high noble standing, would have chosen death. Information so secret, people in the judiciary would be willing to negotiate the jailbreak of a condemned killer. It's time to call Schultz. That's the vibe I'm getting. The only explanation that fits those facts is an unthinkable truth that turns absolutely everything on its head. But it's just too hideous. Mr. Naruhodo. However difficult the situation might become, you work with your client in pursuit of the truth. That's what you resolved to do when you entered the courtroom this morning. If I'm not mistaken, Miss Susato. So hold your head high and keep soldiering on. Yes, you're right. 10 years ago, in his final moments, Lord Van Zieks left behind a will. A will that Genshin Asugi was able to use as a weapon to negotiate his escape from prison. In all probability, the details of the will were related to the professor case. The defense's last statement is mere conjecture. What are you getting at? Hey, Nano. I know! The fact that the guy's name is Genshin, it's pretty funny. Genshin is very relevant. Send tweet. Oh. I am making the best with my dinner. Don't mind me. What are you getting at, man? Yonosuke. As soon as these words come out of my mouth, there's no going back. I believe that the last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zieks was, in fact, accusation. Obviously, it must have been an accusation. Accusation? Yes, revealing the true identity of the professor. Which would explain why Asugi took it, since it was he who was implicated by the document. No. In that case, the will wouldn't have given Mr. Asugi any bargaining power at all. Then you are suggesting the accusation was against some other person.
Objection!
No. If that were the case, the two men would surely have collaborated to pursue the culprit together. Then your whole argument falls down! Fuck. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. What does this mean? I said as I put my taco together. The drama is brewing. There's still a decent amount left, right, Dots? Because I'm kind of feeling like I gotta find a stopping point soon. Can I object to the penalty too? Right. Come on, Rinosuke, I know you. Seen the heart of all this, haven't you? Have you, Kazuma? Years ago, in his final moments, he left behind a will that Genshin Asugi was able to use as a weapon to negotiate his escape from prison. I believe that the last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zieks was in fact a confession? You can do this, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe that what Lord Clint Van Zieks actually penned that day was a confession. A confession? Regarding the mass murderer known as the Professor. And his true identity.
Objection!
Oh, we're about to hurt him. Enough, Council! What are you saying? Do you even realize? A confession about the true identity of the Professor. That would mean... Van Zieks, I appreciate this must be hard to take in. But it's the only explanation that fits. The killer that terrorized London a decade ago and became known as the Professor, the man believed to be the murderer, the man believed to have murdered 5 members of the aristocracy. Wasn't Genshin Asugi at all. No, you can't be suggesting. It was in fact the man believed to be the 5th victim. Lord Clint Van Zieks himself. They're like... It's finally open, is it? Pandora's box. Great Van Zieks' family, they've been thoroughbreds of British... Oh my god. My brother. Oh, this is too awful. Poor Lord Van Zeeks. I wonder, though, did he never suspect? Mr. Naruhodo? Lord Barrick Van Zeeks is a brilliant prosecutor. Is it conceivable that he didn't realize what his older brother really was? Order, order, order in court. Lord Van Zeeks. The professor made use of an enormous hound as his murder weapon. Tell me, did your brother own a dog? Yes, he did. Balmung. He was a well-known hunting dog. People called him the Giant. Oh, that's so fucking suspicious. I don't believe this. My brother would go hunting in the forest of the grounds. Behind the house, he always took Balmung. After Clint's death, the creature passed away too, almost as if he were following his master. He was a magnificent hunting dog, worthy of the jewel-studded collar around his neck. Didn't this come up already? Jewel-studded collar? Oh no. That's right, though sadly, some years ago now, it was stolen by a thief who came into the house one night. Jewel-studded collar, stolen by a thief. It so happens that myself and my colleagues have come across the collar during our time in London. Oh! It was the one in the... Alright, yep, everything's coming, it's circling, we're circling back. We're circling back.
No.
We're circling back. It was found in that floorboards.
Do you understand?
Wow. Okay. There was an old emblem attached to the collar, too, made of pure gold. It was topped with a small crown and bore an ornate capital letter B. For Balmung. Oh my, you know it. It's the insignia of the Baskerville family. Wait, why do I know Baskerville? That was one of Iris's stories, right? The name of the story that she wasn't allowed to publish. Aha! My memory. Okay. What? Baskerville? Why is that name coming up now? Baskerville is the name of the family of my late brother's widow. That pure gold emblem was an heirloom, which Clint acquired upon their marriage. There can be no doubt then, the collar you've described was Balmung's. The family insignia of Lord Clint Van Zeeks' widow? There was a considerable amount of blood on the collar when we saw it. Since we know the dog was used for hunting, it could have been from its quarry, of course. But it could also have been from human prey. Look at that. Van Zeeks really was the professor? Impossible. Japanese are making it all up! So, in fact, the person responsible for these murders of noble royals was a noble himself. And that threatened to be an enormous scandal that would irrevocably destabilize British society. My father knew that and was using it to negotiate his way out of the unjust charges brought against him. But at the very last hour he'd been bargained with. Those he'd bargained with betrayed him, slaying him mercilessly on the soil. Well, can you deny it, Lord Strongheart? Years have passed, and still now, 6 million inhabitants of our great capital rest easy believing that justice was done. That through his anonymity remains the diabolical murderer that was caught and executed. Very well then. You may have the truth. This is not what I was expecting. I'm taking... Should I take a break for my... I have another taco on my plate and I kind of want to eat it. Are we super close to finishing or should I save it for Saturday? Let's like brainstorm this real quick. Am I going to be up ultra late if I try to finish this tonight? Because if there's like a little chunk, I'll just save it for Saturday. Okay. You know what, then? In light of that fact, let's call it there. I will save the very last portion of this game for Saturday, and that will be the final sesh.
It hurts.
I know. I'm sorry to do this, Steve. But I must. Oh. I'm like pressing the wrong button. An hour and a half left total. Okay, yeah. I definitely don't want to do that tonight. Because I'll be up too late, and I wake up really late. So, guys, we're making our final save here. And next Saturday is the conclusion of Great Ace Attorney 2. I actually kind of can't believe we're here. Like, we've been on the game for a while. I think since November. Holy shit, that is a long time. All right, anyways, I will see you guys, probably Tuesday. I think Tuesday's the next stream. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'll make the schedule, post it in Discord tomorrow. Thank you all for watching. Tuesday we'll be playing FF7 and...
Yay!
Yeah. Anyways, guys, catch you later. Good night.